And I'm here on WOTG Radio Network with a good friend of mine, Cooter Daniel. Cooter, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Andrew. I'm down here in East Tennessee. It flooded earlier. I mean, the rain came down hard, but now the sun's out, so we're doing all right.
Well, that's great. That's great. So tell us a little bit about how you got your start in gospel music.
Well, it's the common denominator for most of us singers are that we started in church. When we were young. My grandfather was the song leader, and my dad was the piano player of the Little Baptist Church here in East Tennessee. I'm in Rutledge, Tennessee, which is 35 miles northeast of Knoxville, and we started out in a little Baptist church. I didn't do much solo singing till I was probably around 20. I moved to Nashville right out of high school. Wanted to be, even though I'd sang gospel music, as a child and in the choir and all that, I wanted to be a country music singer. And I moved to Nashville. I got a job with Conway Twitty. And I worked with Conway, and I did country music for about 17 years. Had a band, Cooter Daniel and Southern Style. But now, during all this time, Andrew, I went to church. In other words, I'd play a club on Saturday night, but I'd be in church on Sunday morning. And I remember standing up one time and saying, listen, please don't think I'm a hypocrite because I'm country music in a club on Saturday night, but I want to be in church. I've always loved to go to church. I love the Lord. I was saved when I was 13. And so it's kind of a Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing with that, but that's how I did. I did country music for a while, but I had this calling of getting into gospel music. And I'd been writing some gospel with the country songs that I'd been writing. And I just told my band one night, I said, hey, I'm called to get into the ministry. I'm going to start singing for the Lord. And I did that now for 22 years. I've had times when I've done mostly local stuff. I've had some radio play on a couple songs. Walk With Me on Bending Knees and the Mighty Paul. I got quite a bit of radio play. But, I mean it now in a different way. It seems like when you're a solo artist in Southern Gospel, you can be a little different. I grew up on quartets and trios, but when you're soloist, you can be a little different, and that's kind of where I'm at. I want my sound to be a little bit different. I think it's a time in our music history that Southern Gospel can branch out a little bit. And if it's the right sound and right songs and singer, it works. So that's kind of past to present where I'm at, Andrew.
So during your time of working with Conway Twitty, who were some of those country legends that you got to perform with that really just stood out to you?
I got to perform with Charlie Daniels. So you can imagine Cooter Daniel and Charlie Daniels. And they didn't know whether I was his brother. I don't think I'm no kin to him. We couldn't figure out we're any kin. But that was kind of really a cool concert for me to do. One thing that was funny, Andrew, Conway invited me to go with him. He plays this it's a high school gymnasium. I think we were in Arkansas. And he invited me to go with him. So we go, and they've got the chairs set up, in the gymnasium, just like an old high school gymnasium. And here's Conway Twitty. And this town, so help me, they shut it down. And, I mean, it's a big deal when Conway comes. So here I am, there with Conway, and as it started, I kind of stepped out front so I could see and watch it. And Conway got up there and he went, "Hello, darling." And when he went, "Hello, darling," so help me, Andrew, ladies were passing out in the aisle. And I said, "Gosh," I said, I ain't talking about one or two. I'm talking about quite a few. And there's reviving them, some just falling over in the floor. But Conway he was a powerful. I mean, he was a legend. I got to watch him and Loretta record with Owen Bradley, their producer. That was unbelievable. Every Monday morning, he'd come in off the road, and the first person he would call was Loretta. They were that close. He'd want to know if they weren't singing together. He wanted to know how her weekend went. I wrote actually in Twitty Bird Publishing Company, and but just to be with Conway 3.5 years, it was fast. And Conway set me down and he said, "Cooter, if you're going to be a singer, you can't be here. You got to go out and get your band." You know, back in those days, you were discovered, so to speak. You'd be out there playing. So Conway's the one that kind of started all that for me. So anyway, that's the stuff you never forget. And Conway was not only a legend, but just a super person. I mean, he's super friendly, and I enjoyed my time with him.
So throughout your time of working with him, what one piece of advice did he give you that really sticks to the forefront of your mind?
Conway was very professional. And when I worked in his system for his company, I saw that there's the business side of it. So many singers think they can just make it on their singing and songwriting and all that. But you got to know the business stuff. And Conway, I heard him discussing one time, about the business side of it. He was talking with his manager and, how you have to promote yourself. Conway just didn't rely on the record label to promote him. He did his own promoting. And I saw what you have to do to be a big star. You have to promote yourself. You have to get out there and work at it. And Conway did. I mean, he was smart. He was always ahead of the game. And when he would release a single, he would back with his own money, back the promoting of his single, along with the record label. He said, "You got to do this. You can't just rely on them to do it. You got to do it." So I learned the business part real quick, that there is the business side of it. And it's helped me. It's helped me make the right decisions, So I think that was the most important thing I got from Conway.
So you've released this new song called Old Time Gospel Feelin. Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, Andrew, I tell you, during this COVID, I wanted to write an up-tempo, happy, foot stomping, hand clapping song. So the night I wrote Old Time Gospel Feelin, my new single, it was thundering and lightning here at my house. And that took me back to when I was little and in that little Baptist church here in the Clinch Mountain Valley in East Tennessee. And we had a bad storm, and that thunder was cracking. I mean, man, it was shaking the church, and the lightning was coming through the glass. You could see it coming through the stained glass windows we had. The lights were flickering. About to go out. I remember the preacher saying, "Hey, we may have to go to the basement." So I started thinking about all that. Next thing I know, I'm writing this song. The thunder started roaring. The lightning lit the sky. I said, man, what a opening line for a gospel song, which I'd never really heard anybody kind of write that. I thought, okay, I'm going to write something different. I already can feel this song's going to be a little bit different. But I remember that service that night, Andrew. The Spirit started moving. People were being started moving. People were being saved. They were rededicating their lives. People were hugging. People were shouting. And this is a Baptist. And we're shouting. Anyway, that inspired this song. And I wanted it to be up tempo. I wanted to have some really good music with it. And I'm just tickled to death. After we got good response from it, I said, I just got to release this as a single and see what happens. And I appreciate you and WOTG, radio, and just the response that I'm getting so far. And it's only been out a couple of weeks, so we're still in the early stages of it.
Yeah, you partnered with that old rascal Brian Crow. You know him?
He is a rascal. And I love Brian. Brian's show is so professional, and Brian is very professional. Just like you with your show. And I love dealing with, there it goes back to this business thing. I love dealing with, people that are successful. And, I appreciate Brian, everything he's doing for me. I really do.
So what's coming up for Cooter Daniel in 2021?
Well, I'm looking for bookings. COVID hit last year. All of a sudden put everything on hold. And I got a new single out. I got a great show. Andrew, I got a very high energy show. I play piano. And when the Spirit hits me, I start playing it, And I've got a young lady, Krista Nicole, who opens for me. We put a complete show on, and we'll do churches, we do outside activities, fairs, all kinds of things. So I'm looking for bookings. And I don't know if you can give some information out, or we can give some information where they can reach us to book us.
Go ahead.
And you could get us at 865, area code 865-383-3668, 865-383-3668. That is the Cross King. That's the record label we're on. Cross King Entertainment Group. And we'll have somebody that takes the messages and gets them back to us. And we'd love to get out. And we're ready to go. Bookings, promote our single. Hopefully we got some more songs to be put out. So let's do Tour 21. That's what we're going to call it.
Well, I tell you what, Cooter, I have enjoyed being on with you today. Thank you so much for coming on the Andrew Burnett Show, and we have just had a great time.
Thank you, Andrew. I have enjoyed being with you, WOTG. I want to thank all the WOTG. I want to thank all the listeners out there for liking my song, requesting it. Thank you. Thank your radio station for playing it. We really appreciate it. Look for Cooter Daniel. Andrew, they can go to Cooter, Cooter, Daniel, Daniel, music, Cooter Daniel Music. That's my Facebook. You can follow me. You can get dates that we're going to be performing. You can read. We do Bible verses daily. So check me out.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andrew.
Bye-bye.